Okay, so I don't think there's a lot like any wiggle room for extra because she's pretty much right at the maximum dose for her weight. So doubling up was not.
Big gold and a billfold, so swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap. And when you
So there shouldn't be any issues as far as missing that morning dose if she did truly miss it.
Talk away, boys. I'm on the phone.
Stan, can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Okay, now can you hear me? Now can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, I hear you.
I can barely hear you.
Can you turn your sound up? I got mine as loud as it can.
Yeah, my sound is all the way up. But
I can hear you good.
hold on, I'm gonna run and see about grab my earbuds. I'm gonna see if that's gonna make this any better.
Okay.
All right.
Can you guys say something again?
Testing. Sinn Bodhi in the house.
I can hear that now. I don't know what's different, but all of a sudden.
Well,
I got a microphone. Rip has his phone on his belly, and
I can't
probably
make it
can't
any
hear him
closer.
as well as mine.
Let me just run and just grab those earbuds just in case. I'm just gonna give it a try. Hold on one second.
All right, man.
As you can see, wrestling with Rip Rogers, they got it all going on here.
Yeah, you do got to speak up a little bit, Rip.
I can't talk. I can't. Do I have to talk like this?
Yeah, that's better. You just said you were about ready to say you can't talk any louder, right? As you started talking a lot louder.
Yeah. I started screaming is what I started doing.
Oh.
So I guess I'll just scream since I'm in.
Use those earbuds I gave you.
I don't know how to use. I don't know how to use that shit.
That's all you need, man. I'll send you some. You just plug them in your phone, put them in your ear. Perfect. Then you can hear. It's got a microphone. You can hear through the ear thing. Doesn't get better than that. There, somebody said screaming with Rip Rogers. Of course, it's Screaming Baboon who said that.
Oh, imagine that.
Gregory Mala in the house. Tom Montgomery in the house. George Jetson in from outer space. Bull Digging in Green in the house. 70QQ. Audio and video is good. The audio guy in the house. Puzzy Monster here today. Gregory Mala said, I'm too loud, or is loud. I don't know if I'm too loud. Widowmaker 67 in the house. All the top stars. Screaming Baboon in Green in the house. All the top stars are here.
Can you hear me now, Sin?
I don't know why this is any fucking better.
Can you hear me when I'm screaming?
Friday, July 25th. Man, we did such a good job on our walkthrough, too. I mean, we had this all nailed down on our walkthrough pre-show today, 10 a.m. Eastern. What's been going on, Rip?
I'm just sitting here trying to where everybody can hear everybody and whatever.
What's been going on, though? Like all week, what's been going on? Have a good week this week?
Oh, it's the greatest week I've had in my life.
Is it really? What went so good for you?
Well, I only shit my pants a couple times. Just normal things in life, you know.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. So that's a good thing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You wear the diapers yet?
No,
No?
I think Flair's got to start wearing them.
Oh, really? Did he say that?
No, well, they said he goes to the bar and he keeps shitting his pants.
Oh, wow.
So
Why is this thing doing this? It says pairing, Bluetooth pairing, and it's not connecting to my fucking phone. Yeah.
Oh, look who's here, Rip. Michael Costello, the longest living member, along with Opinion Haver. I was trying to think of his YouTube name, Opinion Haver. Michael Costello in the house today.
well, it's about time he's been here.
No, he's been here forever. In reality, George Jetson wants to know how you shit your pants when you're packing.
Well,
All right, fuck this fucking
you shit your pants, and you got shit all over your packing. So when you pull it out, it's fucking either dripping or just there. And yes, I'm packed right now. So
apparently, it's not doing very good for you, though.
Why not?
Well, if you're shitting your pants, I mean, it sounds like it's coming right through the packing.
No, I don't shit my pants.
Oh, well, you said you did. You're the one that said it. You said I shit my pants. That's what you said.
Well, in other words, I got to shit all the time. And I use too much toilet paper to wipe my ass all the time. So I half-ass wipe it, then I put the big plug up there. Then when I got to go again, I'll take the paper out and take my shizer. You know, there's technique A, B, C, D, and E. You know, it's the art of shitology.
Got it. Hey, Sin, I can see you. Give me a thumbs up if you can ever hear us. Good. Just give me one of these. I can't hear you, but give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and Rip. He's talking, but
Chipper, I can't make out anything.
You can't hear.
I'm gonna log out and I'm gonna put the Bluetooth on and I'm gonna log. Maybe it won't let me log in. Like it's saying my connection won't find it. So maybe it's because I'm already on the stream. I don't know. Also, know
we
technology
can hear you
sucks.
just fine. We can hear you just fine. So.
I can't hear you guys. I could barely hear you. I like lean right into the phone.
All right. Yeah. Try to redo it then.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Later. Pussy Monster said, "Is this the Gong Show? Remember the Gong Show, Rip?"
Oh hell yeah! I
don't remember that theme song, but I love the Gong Show, man.
That was Mean Gene the Dancing Machine.
Was it?
Oh yeah. Oh, you probably wasn't born yet.
I just said I love the Gong Show. I asked you if you remembered it. Hell yeah, I was born. I watched it as a kid.
Okay. What years was that?
Well, hell, I don't know. I watched it.
Well, I don't know either.
What?
And I don't know if it was. I don't know if it's been like on Channel 4 and they had reruns of that shit and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the Gong Shows. All I know as a kid, I watched it. 1978. How's that? Shane Park, $2 super sticker.
Oh, you was 5 years old then, Vaughn.
Thank you, Shane.
Weren't you was about 5 years old in 1978, wasn't you?
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay, so you was watching the Gong Show. Okay.
Yeah. How we doing now?
I'm good. Perfect. Now
fantastic.
My daughter helped me figure it out. She's young and smart, and I am old and dumb.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Did you ever watch the Gong Show, Sin?
Sure did. Chuck Berry. Yeah, an Unknown Comic. I almost had the Unknown Comic on Freak Show Wrestling.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He was just slightly more than the budget with a lot.
Well, so. you could have just had a guy like Big Al Sloan from Seymour, Indiana come in. He could imitate a dog, and he had the goddamn sack over his head. It didn't matter who it was, right?
Right.
when the moolah's down, you just gotta think a little bit of application and shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, I could have faked it easy enough, but I really wanted the authentic Unknown Comic, and I thought that would have been pretty cool.
Holy shit!
Hey, I got a tech question for you, dude. I see like this play button right in the middle of our screen. What? I don't know what that is. Why is that there?
It's not on my screen, so I don't know if that's your.
I just hit it, and now it's gone, but I don't know what it did. So, you know.
Yeah, it's not. It sounds like it's probably on your side. Rip's our tech guy. I don't know. Ask Rip.
I'm a tech guy. I get technicals on, and I get kicked off the internet for a couple of days and stuff for calling girls biatches and he-azures and stuff like that. Women of the evening, and they're fat, but what the hell, right?
What the hell?
Hey,
like I said on the tweet or X or whatever it's called, I don't know how we've survived 3.5 years of YouTube with 0 strikes. It's
really
a miracle.
I understand.
I would have definitely bet against that in the start of all this, especially if you ever go and watch any of our original videos that we did. Holy shit. It would be, I think there was one time it was 100 some F-bombs in 60 seconds.
Oh, I have no doubt. That's all with Rip. That's all. Fuck you is his get it again.
Yep. He's really calmed down though. I like turning the lights down. It makes my beard look a lot grayer. I've been trying to get the gray look.
Well, the darker the lights, and the more clown paint, the better looking I get.
Yeah, that's like when
you don't have the gray beard though. Where's your gray beard at?
It's kayfabed under this Bluto Macho Man hair dye, just so I don't look like Santa Claus when I'm running around, and that's all fine and good. I like the Santa Claus look. I like it way better than this. When I look at this, I just think I should be beating up Popeye or something, and I have it there, so when I go to the office, I don't look like I should have an entourage of elves and toys. So
yeah, I was dyeing mine for a while, and then I let it go, and I hate the gray, man. I hate it. I'm 51 now. Just not a big fan of getting old myself.
Yeah, I think moving around is the fountain of youth. You got to keep active.
Agree with you there.
So
what's going on, man? You're in Vegas now, right?
Yes, sir. I'm about an hour outside of Vegas on the edge of Death Valley here. My wife and my daughter and I have a little ranch on the edge of the mountains. And we have a bunch of little funny critters. And in true Rip Rogers form, I was cussing up a storm this morning because I got up a bit earlier to kind of get myself together and go outside to help my wife do some stuff. And then we had these little baby ducks born. And so one was born a few days ago and one was born yesterday. And we saw them running around and they were playing with the bigger ducks. But she said, I can't see the one little duck. So we have Lemonade is the first one. That's just slightly bigger. He's got a couple of days head start. And little Hulkster, we named him Hulkster because he was born yesterday. And so she's like, I can't find Hulkster. So I had to crawl around in the muck and figure out where the fuck he was to make sure he was okay and didn't get smushed by the ducks or something. And when I was I had to literally crawl around in duck water and all that stuff to look into their little house. And I gigged myself hard way you can see right there, sticking my head into the fucking house. And I just blew Ric Flair, Crimson Mask. I'm like, motherfucker. So that was my first morning. So I literally was just washing all the blood off my face right before I got online here with you guys, only to deal with sound difficulties and technical difficulties. So.
Well, with my expertise, we always make our way through it some way.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Well, like you said, you're the tech support on your own show, right, Rip? Like how many was it 188 gigawatts to fuel this thing correctly, or
I think it was 189.
There you go. See, Rip always has the answers.
Yeah.
I think you should have left the blood going when you got on here today.
I should have. I thought Rip might fucking pop for that. But
well, I was expecting you to do something like that, but you're just playing it straight today. The warlord of weird is not as weird as he usually is right now.
Well, yeah.
Starting to think it's all a gimmick.
I laughed when there's been a couple times hanging out with Rip, and he just looks at me like he's just discovered electricity or something, or gravity, or the earth is round or whatever. He just looks at me and goes like, "You're normal." Like it's like the biggest conspiracy theory of all time. He's like, "No, I mean you're actually normal. Like you got a gimmick, but you're fucking normal." Like his mind is blown, which amuses the shit out of me.
I could see that. Rip said 70QQ said the Gong Show was 76 to 80. 1976 to 1980 was the Gong Show.
What was he? He was just gallivanting. Chuck Barris was just gallivanting as a TV host, but really he was like a CIA spook or something like that or whatever. So he professed, maybe, I don't know.
Wow, Sinn's got all the back story on the Gong Show. Who knew that was gonna?
Well, he was going to bring it up, and then he's Googled it for the last 7 days. So he's the he's the expert of the Gong Show.
He planted that comment in the comments about the Gong Show just so he can.
That's right.
get over right away here today.
I think
Rip, one of our mutual friends, Rock Riddle, the original Mr. Wonderful, was a guest on the Gong Show, and I remember talking to Rock about that back in the day. I was a big mark for the Gong Show, and so he was on there and he did that, and I showed me pictures and all this stuff. It was pretty cool.
Now, how old's Rock? Is he about 80?
I think he's 35.
Okay, I'm gonna say he looks like 33, so he be even younger.
Yeah, he tans a lot, so that 35 probably maybe if that 33 looks like a 35, but he's a funny dude. There we go. There's the Hulk.
All right, you mentioned it earlier, so we might as well get to it. Hulk Hogan passed away yesterday. Rest in peace, Hulkster.
Rest in peace, sir.
One of the great legends, or maybe the greatest, depends who you talk to, of the wrestling business. I know he's been under a lot of controversy later on in his life or whenever it all happened, but
I couldn't believe yesterday, like I put up like a couple days ago, I put up a rest in peace Aussie thing, and that was all fine. And then I put a rest in peace Hulk Hogan, rest in peace Hulkster thing yesterday. I couldn't believe, and so I put like one post just to, be nice, rest in peace. And then I literally had to put another post. I was just so disgusted seeing all these fucking marks, that these holier than thou marks that would just spew some hate on the day of his departure. Like if you don't like a dude, that's fine. Like we live in a wonderful country where good people have died for the right for you to be an asshole and view your shitty opinions and take a knee, during the anthem and do whatever fucking dickhead thing you want to do. Like try taking a knee in another country during an anthem and watch what happens to your skull. But only here can you, have the freedom of speech and the indulgence to say good or bad things. And so I was so baffled, like not just like on my comments of like the Hulk, but just on the internet, like nice compliments and shitty compliments, like shitty like insults and stuff. And I just thought like all these people writing these things, 99.9% have probably never even met the guy in real life. So they're just hearing all like the Mark gossip and they don't know, truth from bullshit. Is evident if you just watch the news, red and blue, you can never tell what the fuck's going on. And I just thought like, man, all these holier than thou marks are like look in the fucking mirror, like cast the first stone, dude. And I just thought what shitty form it is to like say something on the dude's departure date. But,
Rip, what do you think?
Again.
Well, that's why I hate the world. And and most of these problems are caused because of technology.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good, but a whole lot more bad.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of technology, even when it's convenient. Just because I think like it's made the world dumber. Like you would think us having these speaking spells in our pockets with a gateway to all the knowledge in the world would make us more enlightened and more clever. Nope, it just turned us all into a bunch of dumb fucking marks. It drives me bonkers.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. I mean, I saw people saying it's about time. Like people are just ruthless, man.
Yeah.
On the Hogan comments today.
I always fantasize about the I don't know. I'm sure Rip hasn't seen this, but maybe you have the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Mm-hmm. So at the end of that movie, this is my favorite part. At the end of that movie, they're walking around like door to door, ringing doorbells, and they're finding all like the internet marks that said shit about them. They're like, hey, are you Smart Mark 69 at hotmail.com? Yes, I am. And that just makes me laugh. All right, love you. Drive safe. My wife has taken my daughter to her concert. She's my 17-year-old daughter is playing the Warped Tour in Los Angeles this weekend. So that's why I didn't take a booking this weekend, so I could hold the fort down.
So she's performing.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Now she's playing guitar, right?
Yeah, bass guitar. Yeah. She's going to be on stage at the Warped Tour. She's already like, she's played House of Blues. She's played Hard Rock Cafe. Love you. Drive safe. It's awesome.
So is she in a band? Can you give us a band name?
She's in like the kids, like the School of Rock band, and like they have like those, I guess, across the country in like various cities. So the different kids, they kind of like they sort of travel these kids around the country and the different city bands. So she's in the Las Vegas chapter of the School of Rock.
Oh, that's
And
awesome,
so,
man.
so School of Rock is going to open up for the Warped Tour, which is like a huge rock concert. So I'm super proud of her.
Yeah,
And then they just walked through the door, so now I can say it without like embarrassing her or whatever. But like, so my kid is freaking awesome. Like she does all this rock stuff and whatever. And this week, yesterday she literally signed her contract to join the Navy on her 18th birthday. So she's 17 now, and this week she did her aptitude test, and they said, depending on your score, you will get the options to pick such and such, jobs. And so she scored through the roof, like she's Doogie Howser. And so they're like, you can pick any job you want. And so she has to do like this mentorship throughout the year until she's 18. And now she ships out for boot camp on her 18th birthday. So I'm super proud of her. But at the same time, I was telling Rip about this earlier. I'm so tripped out of like how am I supposed to protect her when she is gone? Like at my house, or if she's walking around with me in Las Vegas, that's the safest kid in Las Vegas. But now she's going to be in places that I can't go to, can't see, can't comprehend, and now her dad's not going to be there to protect her, and it scares the shit out of her. So there you go.
Yeah, that's wild. My kids are 8 and 9. I got 2 girls, 8 and 9. So
enjoy it, because they were going to be 25 in 10 seconds. Like, I swear my kid went from SpongeBob to Slayer overnight. I'm like, what the fuck? Golly.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Back to Hulk Hogan. I agree with all that. I think, too, what you said was right on. Just imagine if everybody had their worst moments published on the internet, so everybody knew everybody's worst moments. It would be much harder, I think, for people to cast those stones, as you said, against Hulk Hogan if everybody knew everybody else's bad shit. So that I just so many people are holier than thou. It drives me insane.
Well, like I just don't understand what motivates. Like, I'll toot my own horn and say I'm a half decently creative guy, and if I was left to my own devices, if nobody ever showed me otherwise, I would have never thought to hurt another person or to be mean to another person. I would have been like Ferdinand the Bold, just smelling flowers under a tree somewhere. I would have never in my wildest imagination thought to do something mean to somebody. And I see when these people, I say marks just to be tongue in cheek or whatever. I'm not a big fan of that word. I think it's like wrestling's N-word. I don't like it, because we're basically healing on the people that are paying for tickets, and they're the lifeblood of what we do. But at the same time, I like to use the word more as a cuss word, to treat these like assholes, whoever they are, wrestling fan or otherwise, just humans that are shitty, call them marks as an ultimate insult to something that I love. But like, I just think that what motivates you to come onto somebody's page, and of course it's always on the internet, because that's, toxic anonymity behind their fucking jacked up keyboards. Like, come here, you fat skinny little fucking mark, and say that shit to my face in real life, and I will swat you into outer space. Oh, that's what you would say if you were, and they can't say anything, whatever. And I wouldn't hurt a fly, but boy, oh boy, I wouldn't mind smacking a mark or two, pulling that Jay and Silent Bob. Hey, are you smart Mark 89 and 69 at hotmail.com? Yep. What? I would have no problems doing that. But then they'll sue me, and for 2 seconds of pleasure, I'll be paying a lifetime to some fat, skinny dude with a mangina that's got blue hair and eight nose holes and whatever the fuck they got. So there you go.
As you said earlier, maybe they have never met the Hawkster. I have met the Hawkster. I hung out with the Hawkster for quite a while one day, actually. And then I was also, this is hard to recognize, I was actually on SmackDown with the Hawkster once. The Rock was looking for the best bodyguard in the business, and they somehow found me.
Excuse me, sir, may I help you? We don't want to talk to The Rock. The Rock doesn't want to hear anything that you have to say. Well, if The Rock doesn't want to listen here, maybe he'll listen real good out there.
Shut the Hawkster down pretty much single-handedly right there. Wanted to see The Rock. Right. I said, no, not today, Hawk. And
that's right.
Hawk just went down the road, right?
Complied. And he complied, right?
He sure did. Yeah. You saw him. He wanted none of that.
So I'll tell you, and like as a kid, I was a fan of the Hulkster. I was the heel guy growing up. Like I liked, the Jake the Snakes and the Macho Mans and the Roddy Pipers and the Mr. Perfects. But I enjoyed Hogan. Like, I mean, you can't, like, I would go to a Batman movie really more for the Joker and the Riddler and the Penguin and the Catwoman. And Batman would, to me, was just along for the ride. But without Batman, then those other heels sort of become impotent, It's no use for them. So I felt like Hogan was a great baby face to watch my villains of choice perform. And I guest coached at his school after my SmackDown, after I was like released from SmackDown, and so he was cool. I'll tell you a funny story. And we had a falling out, and we made up. I'll tell you, Rip will enjoy this. So this is ridiculous. So this just speaks to like the silliness, the cartoon lifestyle that wrestlers live. So I was coaching at Hogan and the Nasty Boy school in Largo, in Florida, not too far where I was living at the time. And so they're gonna Hogan and Bischoff were gonna film some A&E special with Hogan, Finding Hulk Hogan. So Knobs called me up and said, "Hey, our batch of new students, they're just too green to put in the ring in the background. I want to have somebody decent in the ring, kind of in the backdrop. Could you and one of my buddies come in and wrestle?" So I grabbed a guy named Titan, who was about 7 foot tall dude, big jacked up dude. We did a lot of stuff together, and so we're rolling around and working in the background, and then on camera, I guess Hogan goes, "Hey, I didn't realize how good of a worker you were." He goes, "Why aren't you working with Vince?" And before I could even open my yap, Knobs was like, he was there, but Vince fucked up and blah, 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 all this stuff. And Hogan's like, okay, well, let's talk about this off camera. So he pulls me aside after the shoot. He's like, "Kid, like, what's going on?" And I said, I couldn't tell you why I got canned. Everybody seemed to like me there just fine. The matches were good. The agents were happy. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I still couldn't. To this day, I couldn't tell you. And yet I've been back coaching a bunch of times ever since. So why they canned me in the first place, I couldn't tell you. But anyway, so he goes, okay. And this was at a point where he was just on his way to TNA for the first time. So he goes, well, I'm going to this little company. Maybe you heard of it, TNA. I'm like, yeah, I heard of it. So like, he doesn't know that I worked there, like, as the new church or whatever. Why would he? I wasn't an original TNA guy, but I was like the year 2, year 3 guy. Yeah. And so I go, yeah, yes, sir. And he goes, man, you're just a hell of a worker. And he's like, you move like such a great heel, and you really can get some heat off the guy, and you really can put over the guy, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I got this kid that you would have a hell of a feud with. His name is Jeff Hardy. Ever heard of him? I'm like, yeah, I know Jeff. Yeah. Happy to do it. And I'm like, okay. And so he's giving me all these compliments, and he's blowing all the smoke. And in my head, I'm thinking, I think I kind of really had to just bring it back to this podcast. I kind of had like guys like Rip and Doc in my head, and Al, Al Snow and Rip Rogers and Dr. Tom, just kind of like always like looking, what's the bullshit here? What's the scam? What's the work? What's the con? What's the gag? And I'm thinking, why would the Hulkster take time to blow smoke up little old Kazarni Bass? It doesn't make any sense to me. So like, why would he do that unless he liked me or he's really vindictive? I don't know. Or is this just is he just running his yap just to, I don't know, kind of look cool or something? I don't know. But he has no need, no reason to do this. But he's saying all these nice things. So I'm like, okay, great. Because I'm going to get you a job. I go, okay, awesome. And so I don't think much of it, just because again, I've got Rip and Doc and Al on my shoulders. And so a little while passes by, and I see him at the school. He's like, brother, I'm working on it. I go, okay, it's cool. I see him at a party. Brother, I'm working on it. I'm like, okay. And so finally, I'd gotten a call from the Jim Rose Circus to come out to Vegas and work on some shows with him. For anybody that doesn't know, Jim Rose is kind of like the Vince McMahon of Sideshow. Like he helped break like Marilyn Manson back in the day, and he worked a lot with 9 Inch Nails, and he did Sideshow stuff on like rock concerts, which kind of elevated, Sideshow being from like the Midway or Coney Island to like major stages. And so anyway, me and my first wife, what happened to Rip? Rip got bored and powdered.
He'll be back. He gets spam calls and it takes him off his phone, and then I have to bring you back in. He'll be back.
Okay.
There he is.
There he is. There he is. Oh, I thought Rip got sick of me talking, and he was just like, "I'm out of here. I'm gonna go.
He was like, "This is the Wrestling with Rip Rogers show, man."
Right. Yeah, he's like, fuck this Kazarni guy. I'm gonna go and find some midgets and some licorice and some Legos. And go have a party.
Yeah, some.
So okay, so I got a call from Jim Rose, and I'm thinking, well, my first wife, my wife at the time, Stacey Carter, she's a wrestler too. You know, we're both like, okay, so nothing's happening at WWE or TNA right now. So Jim is calling us to go to Vegas, or calling me to go to Vegas, and he's like, we can make a lot of money together. Why don't you come out here? So I'm like, okay. So that's why I moved from Florida to Las Vegas in the first place. And so I'm doing stuff with Jim Rose, but I'm also, you know, doing a lot of like indie bookings, so to put sort of like a harsh note on this, so I'm sorry. So during all of this, a very good friend of mine, rest his soul, Bad Seed Sean Osborne, who Rip knows from OVW. I met him in OVW, and we became really good friends at FCW. And he was one of those woulda, shoulda, coulda guys, just one of those guys that happenstance, just kicking the balls, and like he didn't get his shot, even though he was great. He was awesome. He'd work, and he was just I called it the hat trick. He was unlucky in love, unlucky in his dream, and unlucky with his family. He was estranged from his family, got fired from FCW, and his fiance broke up with him when he got fired. So he was down in the dumps. So he took his own life. And to this day, I'm embarrassed to say I didn't see it coming. I felt like an idiot. And it was so creepy because he just knew what he was going to do, and he planned it. Like he paid all his bills in advance. He donated all his money to charity. He was an organ donor, and ironically, since he played a blind wrestler, that was his character, Blind Seed. Ironically, his eyes went to a little girl that couldn't see, and now she could see because of a blind wrestler. So how fucking crazy is that? Yeah, for real. And so long story short, I was always taught by all of my coaches, be a good soldier, do what you're told. Ron Hutchinson, I'm waiting for Rip to give me the what is it? The
sensational and intelligent mass thunderbolt.
I can't hear Rip. His microphone's off. Rip, turn your microphone on.
Okay. Can you hear me? Hello.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
Okay. The sensational and intelligent mass.
I cannot hear Rip at all.
No?
Huh. No, not at all.
Well, I can hear Rip a little bit.
Rip, get your penis off the phone speaker.
It's not on there. It's way below that.
The crowd, the people in the chat can hear everybody, it sounds like. So I don't know, maybe finish your story and then maybe, I don't know, reconnect. Rip just connected back. So I don't know if that is why you can't hear him.
So to quickly end this story, so I just thought, Sean, Bad Seed, Blind Seed is not on the planet anymore because he felt that he was invisible. He wasn't hurt. So, to be a good soldier, you don't get hurt, and so I just remember telling myself, I'm not gonna do that. From now on, I'm gonna say what's on my mind and be damned for it. Whether I'll face the consequences, I'm a big boy. I'll make my bed and sleep in it. But I firmly believe in the pecking order. But when the pecking order is obstructed or abused or perverted, then be a man, step off the pecking order. But the chips are going to fall unfairly where they may, and I can live with that. So I thought, I'm going to speak my mind from now on. So I get home late at night from a wrestling show. Well, I don't know, maybe LA or something. And it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I had TNA on the DVR, and what pops up is Hogan cutting a promo on, I think it was Mr. Kennedy. And he was basically saying something like, you need to step it up, brother, because I got a lot of potential main eventers sitting at home waiting for your spot. And I don't know why, I just kind of, it just sort of rubbed me kind of a little bit. And I thought, I'm going to say something. So instead of calling or texting Hulk, I on my Twitter, like for everybody to see, I just put, "Hey Hulkster, how's about that job you promised?" And then I just went to bed and forgot about it, left it alone. And the next morning, I woke up to like 1,000 like retweeted whatever, messages, or like all these people, and it was tagged, Sinn Bodhi and Hulk Hogan, Sinn Bodhi, Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I scroll all the way down, and Hogan had responded. What started off this, like, me and him started off this chain of fans chiming in, and he just put, "With an attitude like that, no wonder you're not working at any company." Then I got hot. Then I was just like, "Fuck you, dude! I could wrestle circles around you, motherfucker!" All this stuff. And he instantly wrote right back, "Oh, is wrestling skill all it takes? I thought it was about making money, brother," and all this stuff. And skills are the last thing that you need, whatever. And 1,000 more fans chimed in, and I thought, just on the pecking order of how fans perceive us all, like, Hogan's at the top of the heap and Kizarny is at the bottom of the heap. So I figured they would all just shit on me, but about 9 of the 10 people kind of healed on him, and they were saying some really mean shit, and that's not what I wanted out of the situation. I just wanted to be heard. I was tired of being just like, I think it's a wrestler's curse to sometimes feel bright and visible. I hate that shit. I'd rather be told fuck off than be told nothing.
Right.
Like, it's just a massive pet peeve. And I appreciate guys are busy and they've got to deal with major companies or whatever. But like, if we can send each other a meme or something, you can just write something, like, I don't know, fuck off, yes, no, something, I'll let you know. But just to be ignored is very hard, I think, on your sanity. And so anyway, so fast forward the next day or whatever it is, Brian Knobs calls me, and like Knobs, as Rip would know, is like, he likes to stir the pot, he likes to poke the bear. And it was funny to me because this was exactly not this. My big huge pit mastiff is pushing my legs around underneath the stable. So he calls me up. He's like, "Sinner, what are you doing? Why are you fucking around with Terry? Blah, blah, blah. That's not a good idea, whatever." He goes, and I'm like, "Fuck you, Knobs. Go fuck yourself, man. Like, I'll say what I fucking want. I'm a grown ass man." And he's like, "I know you're upset about Bad Seed. I know you're hurting, and I know you're in a dark place. So I'll smooth it over with Terry. Well, you and Terry can both go fuck yourselves. Fuck you. I want nothing you got. Go fuck yourself." He's, no, be quiet. I'm sitting right next to him on the airplane. I'm like, "Fuck you, Terry." Screaming and hang up. Not my finest moment. And then so months and months and months and months go by. And then I find myself sitting on Clearwater Beach underneath Bushwhacker Luke's gym in front of Hogan's beach shop at a little bar restaurant, sitting having breakfast with Jimmy Hart. We had done a show together or something. I don't know why, but I'm sitting next to Jimmy Hart having breakfast. And he's like, "Baby darling, we gotta squash this beef with you and Hogan, baby darling." And I'm like, "What do you want me to do about it, Jimmy?" Like, he's kind of Hulk Hogan and I'm kind of not. So what would you have me do? He's like, "Baby darling, I'll fix this, baby. I got this. And he picks up his phone and he's doodly-doo talking for a second, kind of all secretive, whispering, and I don't know what he's up to. And he's like, "The Hulkster's gonna come here. Well, we'll patch it up. We'll sort it out. Don't worry, baby darling." And I'm like, "Okay, Jimmy Hart, whatever you say." Like, Jimmy was always cool to me, and Jimmy was actually in the wedding party of my first wedding with my practice wife, Stacy Carter. He actually gave her away. I wish he kept her, But so anyway, so I'm wondering, what's he doing? And sure as shit, my life that day turned into an episode of Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. I kid you not, within about 10 minutes of that phone call, right in front of Bushwhacker Luke's gym, a yellow and red Corvette pulls up, and out pops the Hulkster. We shook hands and hugged, and we were like, "I'm good, brother. If you're good." I'm like, "I'm good, sir." He goes, "All right, you guys have a great day. See you, Jim. I'll talk to you later, Jim." And he couldn't have been a minute, and he got back into his yellow and red his little red Corvette and moseyed on down the line. And that's my silly Hulk Hogan story.
So did you ever work with him in TNA then after that, or no?
No, I did not. I don't know where the fuck I was at this stage of the game. This was quite a while after.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was even there at that stage of the game. He might not have. Like, this was
Wow.
a little while down the road. My timelines are kind of shitty, but like I don't. But whatever he was, whether he was a TNA or not, I didn't end up working with him. Like I went back to TNA a couple of times for some those one night only pay-per-views and stuff like that. I think some of the fans that are better historians than us might know the timelines a little bit better.
Yeah, I suck.
Like Jake Roberts. Yeah, Jake Roberts. He's like one of my. He's my mentor, one of my best pals, and he'd always be impressed. Like, these fans know more about me than I know about me. I forget some of these things. They tell me and they remind me. I'm like, oh shit, I did do that, or I did wrestle there, I did go here, I did do this. So I'm kind of the same way. I think, years of getting bopped in the head, sometimes you just don't forget stuff. But yeah, I'm happy to say
$5.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm currently wearing my red and yellow Hawk Rules bandana that my dad bought me in 1992. Market Square, that's Indianapolis, man. Rest in peace, Hawk. I saw the Hawkster versus Kamala at Market Square. I don't know if it was 92. Would have Kamala been around in 92? I can't remember. Again, I don't know my years at all. But I did see the Hawkster versus Kamala at Market Square Arena.
I'm a big fan of both. So here's my 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with Kamala. So I met him wrestling in Memphis for Jerry Lawler. And at the time, I had a huge. So I'm sitting at my feet right now. I have a 120-pound pit mastiff named Ox Baker Wigglebeans. But my first mastiff, I lived in Alabama with. I was dating one of the TNA cage dancers. I mean, that's why they called it TNA in the first place. And so we had gotten a big big mastiff puppy, a big English mastiff. And so he was big and black, and I'm like, he's Kamala. I just called him Kamala. He's awesome. And so I had him, and he was just a puppy, but his head was so heavy, it was bigger than his body. He'd flump over and he'd bop over, and he was such a little, like a tiny, like he was like not even a puppy. He was like a baby. We got him in right across the street from the Jack Daniels factory in Tennessee. There was like a little pet shop or whatever. So anyway, so I named him Kamala, and so I'm sitting there petting my dog, and Jerry Lawler calls me and says, "Hey, when you come into the show tomorrow, I'm a girl short. Could you bring your girl who was like, she was like a kind of a pseudo wrestler ballet? Like she could pull through a match if she had to, but she was more of a ballet. But he was just like, look, I'm a girl short. Could you bring your lady with you, and I'll give her a spot?" And I said, "Sure, Jerry Lawler, but just so you know, I've got this brand new puppy, and I can't leave him at home by himself if I bring her. And I know he's scared shitless of dogs. So he's like, fuck it, bring the dog to the studio. It's fine, whatever." And so, I'm like, okay. So me and the ballet girlfriend and my dog Kamala, we get to the TV station in Memphis. And who do I see on the elevator was the real Kamala. And I'm like, "Hey, bro, I know, don't be hot, but I'd like to introduce you to Kamala." And he looks down, and my little dog is like, Kamala was wearing like flip-flops. And my little dog was like kind of licking his toes and stuff. He's like, "Oh, you named a dog after me? Oh, that's nice." He was very, very flattered that I named my dog after him. And then not too long after that, I got him booked up in Canada when I put on a show. And he was in the car singing country songs with Jimmy Hart, which blew my fucking mind. Like, it was just like, I'm like, what's happening with my life right now? I felt like I was perpetually living in a Hulk Hogan cartoon rock and wrestling episode. Like, it was just the silliest shit.
That's awesome.
So that is what I would call a no payoff story. I just had just a dumb, silly memory reminiscing out of my.
You do good impressions, man. I'm impressed with your Jimmy Hart and your Kamala. Both of them were.
Thanks.
Rip,
Thanks.
tell your Kamala story. You got a Kamala.
What do you got, Rip?
Slept on your floor.
Rip.
Surely you've told Sinn about him sleeping on her. You slept on his floor. How'd that go?
Well, he used to sleep on my floor when his old lady would get mad at him.
Oh man, I can't hear Rip. I can't hear him.
Shit, he can't hear you, Rip.
Well,
Rip. Well, you keep on talking. I'll pretend to listen to you, and then we'll talk, and then you can tell it to me on the phone later on.
Oh, okay. Or when you can watch
tell the
it
good
back
people,
and you can hear it.
Well, this is gonna suck if you
I can't hear him
the rest of the time.
I can't hear. Do you want me to maybe like drop out and come back in?
Why don't you try dropping out one more time and come back in, see if you can pick up Rip that way? Because it happened after Rip dropped out. So
okay, I'll try that. I'll be right back.
All right. It's not like this show to have technical difficulties, Rip, you know?
I think it's just sort of like the first time.
I think it is probably first or second.
Yeah. I thought if I turned the ringer off, then it wouldn't count, but I keep getting these phone calls. And
I missed the Screaming Baboons $2 super chat. Thanks, Screaming Baboon.
All
Rip
right.
drove a train on many young, beautiful rats, he said.
Who did? Me?
He said you did, Rip.
Well, how would he know?
I don't, maybe you told him.
Well, if I did, it might have been ribbing him, you know.
Yeah. Can you hear Rip now?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
awesome.
Right.
Tell your story now, Rip.
No, a couple. It's like Kamala. He'd sleep on my floor. And I lived with Izzy Slapowitz, Rick Connors, and Big Boy Williams. And then Kamala would come in. That's when he was Jimbo. Well, he was Ugly Bear Harris. Then he turned babyface. Then he was Sugar Bear Harris.
Sugar Bear Harris. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So she got mad at him and beat him half to death and pulled the gun on Jimbo. His old lady did, because he won the battle royal, right? $2,000 winner, right? Then he got paid his 4-0, and she didn't quite see it that way. That he goes, no, it's just I didn't really win the battle royal. There wasn't no battle royal money. I just got my 4-0. So he had to run over and hide from her and sleep on my floor. So
awesome.
she really thought there was $2,000 winner on that.
Well, he never really smartened her up or anything. See?
Wow.
I wish I could have worked in the 70s, 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Mm-hmm. I would have, like, no disrespect to the modern day stuff. I think it's amazing. I think it's glittery and fancy, and the athletes are as athletic as they've ever been. And, you know, the business is bigger than it's ever been. But just in my heart of hearts, I would much rather have, I think my personality and my work style and my work rate and just everything, I would have been way suited to just be traveling up and down the roads, you know, like a nomad, like a cowboy, you know, in the 70s, 80s. No Twitter, no Instagram, no YouTube, none of that. Just being a pirate.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think 70s and 80s would have just been awesome, man. I think that would have been.
I remember Dusty Rhodes. He was one of our coaches at FCW, and I remember him saying, he's like, Bodhi, I'd have made $1 million with you, you know, 20 years ago. And I said, well, Dusty, I don't have a time machine, so I guess I'm fucked. He goes, you and me both, baby.
Another great impression, man.
Oh, shucks. I wrestled Dusty, I wrestled Cody, and I was the first guy ever to wrestle Goldust on an indie show in North America. So I think it was his second match out of WWE on the independent scene. I guess, as the story goes, he was supposed to wrestle Christopher Daniels in England, and as Dustin Rhodes. It was supposed to be Dustin Rhodes versus Christopher Daniels, and then the promoter, which I thought this was a genius idea. The promoter or the announcer says, sorry, due to travel arrangements, Christopher Daniels and Dustin Rhodes cannot appear, and then the crowd started to boo. And then all of a sudden, Curryman's music hit, and then Curryman came out, and then Goldust music hit, and Goldust came out. And so Curryman versus Goldust, that sounds pretty awesome on paper.
Wow.
And then so I guess not too long, a couple weeks after that, I wrestled him in Canada, indie show.
Rip, did you actually ever wrestle Dusty? I don't know if we've ever even talked about that. Did you ever wrestle him?
I don't think so, because as soon as he come in, I got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know anywhere else or any other time or earlier than that, or never.
I was too busy insulting him when I'd see him again.
So speaking of insulting Dusty, one night, Wolfie D calls me up. He was my partner in the new church, aka Slash. And he calls me, and I was living with that same girl in Alabama still staying there working for TNA. And he goes, all right, man, I'm gonna ask you if you want to do something. Just now try not to mark out, because I know you're a little Canadian fucking fanboy, and I'm Canadian mark. That's what he said. He goes, so just try not to mark out. I go, okay, well, what do you got? He goes, would you like to wrestle with me in Hazard County, Kentucky?
Yeah.
On the first off, I'm like, yes, of course, Dukes of Hazard territory. Fucking A, I'm in. Whatever, let's go. And he's just like, fuck, I knew I shouldn't have called you. you know. And so he goes, it's on the Jimmy Valiant Boogie Woogie Man retirement tour. I think it was his 18th retirement tour, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And so we were gonna I think we were supposed to tag against Dusty and Chance Prophet, who was a nice guy, good decent worker from around that area. I'm like, okay. So long story short, I'm on the apron and I'm kind of barking and Wolfie has Dusty on his butt, and Wolfie has Dusty in the old Vulcan death grip. And they're just not doing much. And I'm trying to be an entertaining corner man, you know, and all the shenanigans. So I'm barking and saying whatever, and just we're sitting there for so long, I'm just running out of shit to say and running out of shit to do. And so as Rip would know and giggle, I think we talked about this one time too. Like, don't ever call an old baby face old, don't ever call a fat baby face fat. And so I just was like, give up, old man. And as soon as I said that, Dusty started twitching and he got this little smile on his face. He's twitching, and Wolfie D looks at me. He's like, "Oh, what?" You know, and he starts juking and jive, twitching. And long story short, he finally got up, and all you could hear him say, "Oh man, who's that motherfucker thin calling old man?" And he's popping us with the elbows and giving us the bionic elbows and doing all the things. And so, long story short, Dusty wins. We tuck tail and head for the sunset. He stays out there and signs autographs and, you know, kisses hands and shakes babies and does all that stuff. And so me and Wolfie are in the dressing room getting our stuff off, and Dusty like kicks open the door in the locker room, kind of laughing and like looking like he's angry, but he's laughing. He's like, oh man, motherfucker, I was just about to do the job, the Wolfie D, until you called me a motherfucking old man and fired me up, baby. And I just started laughing. We all just started laughing. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? You know? Yeah, don't ever call an old baby face old. Don't ever call a fat baby face fat.
Yeah. Rip, what's your you wrestled in Hazard, right? Wasn't that the one where the pig man came in or whatever?
Yeah. I wrestled in Hazard, but we wrestled in Combs, Kentucky. It was 2 miles outside of Hazard at the A.B. Combs Elementary School. And Fuller's would run in Hazard, but we run in Combs, and we ended up running there every fucking week. It was so fucking good. And but it was the first. It was. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying, it's Hazard County. How can it not run well?
Yeah, we used to. It was a dry county, so a lot of the guys that drank, we knew the kayfabe house, the kayfabe password, and whatever, this and that. But we were sponsored by the fire department. Logan Fields was like the chief. So, and then the sheriff's department would run with Fuller in Hazard, but the fire department, the volunteer fire department, had more power. They could shut down them. They could shut down the police thing. So it was rather cool in that. But they had I remember the first time in there, I saw a guy. He didn't have any legs, and he come in walking. He didn't have any legs, so he come in like walking on his hands. So that was different. And then they also had the guy that there was a girl. I didn't know what it was for sure. I thought it was a girl, but
bearded lady.
She had a pig face. And she had hair all over her face like a beard, but she actually looks like a pig from all the inbreeding there and everything. So went to in Hazard County, no, it was Perry County was what it was. Perry County in Hazard and Combs. And you knew when you went there it was going to be an exciting night. Put it that way.
And my uncle Mike Thompson's from Hazard.
Right.
He grew up there. Dirt floors, outhouse.
I drove Wolfie crazy because as soon as I got in the car, I just started narrating like the guy from Dukes of Hazzard. I'm like, Wolfie D and Sinn Bodhi, they didn't know what they were in for as they were driving down the roads of Hazard County. And he's just like, would you fucking knock that off? I'm like, Wolfie and Sin going to stop at the Mickey D's and get some French fries and some Big Macs? Stay tuned. And he was just like, fuck off.
69's got a $5 question here. I'm a huge dog fan. My boy Tater is loving the show with me. Did anyone ever take a pet on the road? How about back in the day, Rip? Anybody travel with pets?
Well, I usually had I had Snuggles with me, my first dog, and he traveled with me for years in the van. And he was like part weenie dog, but he had this huge head because he was a beagle, and what he's got the short legs, but I called him like a human head a lot of times. He'd be in the van, and then he'd be sticking his head at the big head out there. So no, I took him to all the towns with me, and then he'd get out, pee and poop, this and that, and then he kept everything in order. So I just leave him out in the van when in the show, and if anybody got near the van, he'd be start barking and shit and want to kill everybody.
First I ever heard of that, Rip. Never heard you say that before. Good question, Mongoose69.
In at FCW, I only brought her to the outdoor shows, but I think there's got to be some photos or something somewhere. So the girl I was dating at the time, we had this little Chihuahua, and little girl Chihuahua, and she had this like pink Road Warrior collar that had like the spikes on it.
Yeah.
And so I asked Dr. Tom, I'm like, hey, can I bring Super Destroyer out as my mascot, and I put her in the ring like Matilda, and she could chase around the opponents? Dr. Tom was just like, yes, you can. And so I did that, and I brought her out. And I mean, she was like, this big or whatever. And I set her in the ring, and she'd run around, and like Yoshi Tatsu or Heath Slater or whoever, would peel out of over the top rope, for fear of their life. And my ominous 2-pound Chihuahua.
Couple things.
Rip got abducted again. Rip got abducted by aliens.
He'll be back. Anybody got any super chats? Put them in the thing. We got to get to a couple things too. Shit, we've been on almost an hour. We got to talk about some of your current stuff before you get off here. But give me the Iggy if you ever got to go. But I do want to talk about a couple current things. I did have a couple things. One, I guess I'm not a very good host. I don't do a lot of background research. Either I didn't know or I forgot. I didn't know you were married to Stacey Carter.
Yep.
Man, didn't know that.
We all make mistakes.
Two, the Titan that you're referring to. Titan, you said you wrestled at that. Do you know which one it was? Like, who was it?
His name is Mike Jarvie, and he wrestled as Titan. And I billed him as the world's largest midget. He was like 7 feet tall. And he was on the show with me and Bad Seed, Blind Seed, Sean Osborne, and another big 450-pound guy named Tweedledee. And we did what we called the Dynamite Death Monkeys, which was sort of like a stunt show. And it was basically the precursor to Freak Show Wrestling, which I produced in Vegas and LA. And we mostly did it on stage at like heavy metal concerts in the Tampa area. Tampa, I don't know if it still is, but it was at the time it was known as like the death metal capital of the world. So we sort of played to that audience. So I would in a very G.G. Allen sort of a way, like I'd be bloody every show, and like these death metal fans would wait to see what crazy shit we would do to each other. And so I basically did a sideshow because it was on stage and without a ring. And I would tell promoters that saw us or that were booking us for the first time, like, book me like a band, give me a setup time, a set time, and a teardown time, just like, for instruments, except we're not playing instruments, we're playing weapons. And so we would go up there and I would do some sideshow stuff, and I'd have Bad Seed there, and Tweedle, the big 450-pound guy, and Titan, 7-foot dude. And we'd do this, that, and the other different sideshow stuff. And then we would culminate into the finale would be some sort of very itchy and scratchy kind of a hardcore fight, but we wouldn't use the typical light tubes and barbed wire stuff. We'd do all sorts of crazy or weird stuff. Like one of my big things was the whipped cream thumbtack tie to the face, stuff like that. And
I was thinking oh, sorry to cut you off. I was thinking that
no,
remember Big Ryan? What was his
No, I know who you're talking about. No,
DNA is tight.
He was one of the security guys.
Red shirt security, and then I think he actually had a name. Jacob Duncan in OVW.
Jacob Duncan. Yeah. He wore the mask. He wore the leather. Yeah, he wore the leather mask. No, this is a different dude. No, Mike Jarvie. Yeah, we build him as the world's largest midget, 7 feet tall. And how we would usually kind of start, how we would kind of blow into that fight is I would have had a real rabbit on stage. We would do something silly with it, cute with it. and I would kind of quick change it in those baskets that had the mirrors, so you couldn't see which trap door I was pulling out of. So I put him in. And then I switched to he had like it was a little white rabbit with a red collar and a red leash. So I put him in, and then I had a little stuffed white bunny with a red collar. I went, come here, and I can't get him out. And people are like, holy crap, well, he's being so mean to this bunny. And in truth, I would never hurt an animal. Not a human, no problem. Like a fighting age dude, no problem. But a woman, a child, or an animal, never. And so I'm yanking on this thing, and finally I pull it out and I spin it, and people for a second think I'm doing this until they kind of get the gag, and then the bunny rabbit accidentally spins into Sean Osborne's chainsaw, and the bunny explodes as it hits the chainsaw. So see you later, Ricky the Rabbit Steamboat. And then Big Titan would get upset, and then he would wham, and he'd clobber me, and we'd all be off to the races fighting in our big itchy and scratchy finale.
Man.
Yeah.
Sounds great. George Jessen said, so there is no Daisy Duke in Hazard. No, I didn't. Did you see a Daisy Duke when you guys were in Hazard?
Not too many.
Not too.
No, I didn't see any either.
All right. Well, we got to get to this or Rip's going to kill me. So we got to, Rip sent me this picture, saw it on Facebook. I guess you're into you're with Dana White now in Powerslap. How in the hell, first of all, what's your role? How'd all this shit happen? What's going on with that, man? That's got to be big time, right?
Yeah, it's been very cool. I'm having a great time being there. So I guess what Powerslap is in its third year, and they wanted to up the ante and sort of, grow this thing, and they realized they needed to get new talent in there competing, and then they wanted people that would be good TV as well as good competitors. And they really like the idea of having pro wrestlers, and just because they're used to, kind of being shameless on the mic, shameless, performers, not being scared of an audience. Where I think a lot of the guys in the first couple of seasons, they're big tough guys, but they were civilians. They weren't a big fan. They weren't like very happy to talk on the mic and stuff like that. They were like just humans in general. They don't want to public speak and all that kind of stuff.
They weren't performers.
Right. Like wrestlers are used to saying goofy shit and getting clobbered in silly costumes. So they're used to that kind of stuff. And so I guess they figured, well, if wrestlers are used to jumping off of ladders and tables and hitting each other with light tubes and steel chairs, then maybe getting smacked upside the head might be in their wheelhouse. So their next step was to find somebody that knew about that industry, that could kind of scout those guys and girls. And I guess they realized, pointing in all directions, I guess my name popped up as the guy that, I travel every week somewhere, some city, state, country, province. And I wrestle the local good guy or the local bad guy. I do a seminar. And so I think I'm like the Bull Durham of pro wrestling. I wrestle, a new meet every week somewhere. And I'm in the trenches. I got a good reputation for actually giving a shit about the guys and the girls and, people that I train and stuff like that. So I guess my name came up in every direction they looked. And like, well, let's bring this guy in and talk to him. And he's in Vegas. Like I live, I live on hour outside of Vegas. UFC headquarters are in Vegas. So that worked out. And went in, had the first meeting, and Dana White and his partners are awesome. We got along great. And he told me what they kind of had in mind, and I said, yeah, I can deliver that. And so I went to work right away as their new talent booker, and so I get backstage too. Like I wear several hats, so it's one thing to recruit the guys and girls, and then you got to kind of prep them and get them ready for the combines and get them ready for the shows, and you field questions. So I guess sort of a talent scout, talent relations manager, booker, agent, depending on the exact situations. And somebody was asking me yesterday, like, does it bother you that some of them may or may not know you as a pro wrestler, or you're not there in clown paint, but you're there in a suit kind of a thing? And I said, it's another layer to the onion. When I was a little kid and I was watching WWF, and I remember I really enjoyed Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov and Freddie Blassie. But my little kid's brain, I just saw Freddie Blassie as this crotchety old sparkly suited, shithead manager that was like real snarky and mean and whatever. And as a kid, that's all I knew, because why would I know any different? And it wasn't until later that I was kind of, studying wrestling and I wanted to be a wrestler. And I realized, oh shit, he was he was the scourge of Japan. He was the first wrestling vampire, and he filed his teeth and did all these different things. And then he was this big villain in Los Angeles and all this stuff. And I didn't know any of that until, you know, years later. So if what people see is me as if this is the Freddie Blassie era of Sinn Bodhi, you know, to be a Powerslap. Like, I'm too old to compete. I would compete, but I don't hit their age bracket. Like, they're sanctioned, so it's their competitors are between 21 and 40. Oh. And they have like a buffer zone to go to like 43 if there's some extraordinary circumstance. But I am not in that bracket, so. But I do, you know, I know the fight scene. I know how to, you know, I came up in martial arts and came up doing all sorts of crazy stuff or whatever. Been a pro wrestler for over a quarter of a century, so I know a few things about a couple stuffs, you know. And they figured, all right, this guy is personable and he actually gives a shit. And when we met, like I really like those guys and they really like me, and we just hit it off. And like, all right, you're our guy. And so now I scout the talent and I cultivate the talent, and it's so weird. I'll tell you, it's so fucking weird. My first show that I sat down to watch. So, like, I guess the way the sanction works is the first time you compete, you have to do the prelims with no audience. Like, there's like some guests or whatever, but they don't let in the full audience and go. It's like a dark match.
Yeah. And
so I'm sitting there with the bosses right at the edge of the platform watching these guys and girls. And so, you know, I've got a whole bunch of my wrestling guys and girls there. And I'm not there just to book wrestlers. But obviously 99% of them are wrestlers because that's my wheelhouse. But I'm sitting there and like my direct boss, Erica, who is a badass lady, she is super cool. She looks at me, and I'm just kind of like, you know, watching these guys, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I kind of giggled. I was just like, I think I'm emotionally spent in this. Like, I've performed in front of 100,000 people, which was awesome, and I loved it. But this hit me so differently because, like, it was like when I'm performing, I feel like Rambo, and it's explosions and it's like cool stuff. You know, it's adrenaline. As a coach, it's more like watching like some like romantic comedy or something where it's just tugging at your heartstrings the whole time. So it's like, these are my kids. I want to see them do well. I want to see them be safe. I want to see them be successful. And Dana White's, you know, words from his mouth to my ears was like, look, you know as well as I do, a lot of these guys and girls are not going to get, you know, an opportunity. So this job will give them an opportunity. And, you know, again, me having the baggage of, you know, being a wrestler where there's lots of opportunities dangled, like carrots in front of donkey faces and stuff, and lots of bullshit and lots of swerviness and whatever, or just getting ignored. You feel invisible and it drives you bonkers. You know, I thought, this is my opportunity to be the opportunity fairy. I'll fucking take that. And so I can call these guys and girls and give them an opportunity. Some are all about it. Some are like, hell no, I'm not doing that. You know, and it's their prerogative to do what they want. But I mean, that one kid that I brought up, like, so again, for lack of a better term, like, I don't mean this as harsh as it's going to sound, but like, he was like a no-name indie guy. And that's it. A talented guy, nice guy, you know, woulda, shoulda, coulda. You can put him in the ring with whoever and he'd be just fine. But at this stage of the game, nobody knows who he is, just a guy. I put him on stage. He got the knockout of the night. He knocked out the other dude in the first round in the first swing. So he made $5,000 to compete. He made $5,000 winning bonus. And then he made another $10K for like strike of the night. So the fucking this indie guy, and now he's got like it's over a couple million views on his on the smack heard around the world. And so now he's got promoters calling him left and right and this and that and whatever. Dana White loves him. The Office loves him. You know, and this kid's off to the races. And he made more in one fucking night than most indie guys are going to make in a lifetime. So I was so proud that I you know, was the catalyst to that.
So are you bringing in mostly wrestlers? I saw Hollywood Haley J was on.
Yeah,
yeah.
Haley, super proud of Haley. She's awesome. I met her at OBW. She actually was in her first, like, she couldn't have been wrestling for a couple months, and she did one of my seminars where I was flattered that Al Snows was like, "Hey, would you do a seminar at my school?" And I was like, "Fucking A, I will." You know, of course I will. You know, one of my coaches and one of my, you know, friends, and, you know, he trusted me to teach his kids. I was like, hell yeah. she was one of those kids, and I've kind of kept tabs on her ever since, and she's awesome, you know, and she deserved an opportunity.
Yeah,
and she did well with it. She won, and she proved a bunch of people wrong. So, I mean, I remember her telling me, like, yeah, I was on this tour, and all these people were telling me, why are you going to do that? You're going to get your ass kicked, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. Why would you do that? I mean, that's a bunch of fucking wrestlers telling that to you know, their wrestling sister, you know, like, how's about you be fucking supportive? Like, when I was starting to wrestle, I'm 6'1", I was 250 pounds when I started wrestling. People are like, oh, aren't you too small? Why would you want to do that? Isn't it fake? Isn't it this? Isn't it that? Why would you? It's stupid. Well, those same fucking idiots are probably working still in some dingy little Kmart or some bullshit somewhere. Like, misery loves company. So whatever you want to do, follow your dreams. And so the people I called, the ones that accepted the challenge and said, the money looks good, the opportunity looks good. And two, with you know, UFC and WWE being under the same umbrella company now, Powerslap is within UFC. You know, who knows where the opportunities will take you? Again, like in that very first meeting, they said, you know, if we think Triple H needs to see somebody, we'll just call him. So I mean, there's just so many weird opportunities. Who knows? You know, like, but if you don't try, you never know.
Okay, so when you first got into this, you didn't know Dana White, you didn't have any contacts there. All of a sudden, someone reached out to you and said, "Hey."
Dana White's partner reached out to me, and
what do you think about that? I mean, were you surprised, shocked, happy, elated, or just whatever? I'll listen.
No, I'm a big fan of UFC, and I thought, like, which is like it's a potential opportunity. And I thought my first thought was like, again, just like it was a parallel to when I first started wrestling. And you know, when I told a couple of people I was gonna, you know, going in and have this meeting. Oh, it's crazy! Or are you crazy? Or da, 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 da. And that's all I heard when I first wanted to be a wrestler. And that was like, that just made it easier for me to go, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And to be honest, you know, I'm thoroughly hooked. And I think it's awesome. And here's the deal: is like, I might not have set out to, like, you know, stand there and let somebody swat me. Whereas, like, you know, I want to fight back. Like, you know, that would have been my first reaction. But as I stepped back and open-mindedly saw what this was, I realized what I really liked about it was the purity in its simplicity. Like, this is two chins versus two hands. That's it. That's it. There's no, you know, like, again, I love pro wrestling, no disrespect to pro wrestling, but there's no, oh, Mr. Promoter, sir, what do you want me to do? Am I a good guy? Am I a bad guy? You know, you're going to win in 8 minutes with a steel chair, or you're 14 minutes with a pile driver, and you're at the whim of whatever promoter, you know, big or small, wants to do with you. Where this is a shoot. So this is your destiny is literally and metaphorically in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, I guess
you want to act like a heel, you be a heel. You want to act like a babyface, you be a babyface. Whatever, you do you.
Yeah, I guess my question really wasn't on the participation side or the actual competing in Powerslap. It's more the opportunity side. Like, if Dana White's partner's calling me about an opportunity for anything, I'm pretty excited to listen, especially if I don't have to get slapped. I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely. And I would
not get slapped. I don't know. Rip, do you think you would have been a power slapper? I mean, you did the pro wrestling, obviously. You did the boxing late in life. You think if Powerslap would have came around when you were still of age, mid-30s, let's say, do you think that's something you would have jumped into?
If Bob Eaton wouldn't have hit me in my ear with that working punch and busted my eardrum, which still I remind him or any of his relatives or any story I could tell about. If it wasn't for that, I'd be right up there. But getting hit in that ear when I can make it pop by myself right now, just by flexing my ear, and it pop, 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 pop. So
and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know. Like, you wear a mouth guard, you wear your pieces, you know, and there's rules and do's and don'ts, and there's weight classes. So it's not like you're just walking in there and you're gonna have some 400-pound bear send you to the moon. Like, it's very sanctioned and regulated, and they take every precaution. They do all sorts of medical tests to clear you, to compete, and then they post clear you as well. You know, and so people know. I think there's been like like maybe one, like level 1 concussion, and it was from the guy hitting the table on the way down. It wasn't from the slap. Like for the most part, concussions are when all concussions are when your brain sloshes against the inside of your skull, whether it's from impact or whiplash or something. But when you're getting punched or slapped in the jaw, you're not getting concussed. You're getting knocked out. There's a difference. Like you're getting knocked out because you're getting your jaw is like a typewriter and it's going cha-ching and it's pinching that carotid, robbing you of some oxygen, and you pass out. That's what it is to get knocked out. So I think there's not been a single chip tooth. There's been, I think, one guy misgauged a slap very early on when they were still kind of figuring out the rules of this, and he cracked the guy's orbital socket. There's been no blown eardrums, no eye injuries, not a single chip tooth, and so forth. So in wrestling, and I've had a lot of wrestlers go, "Oh, you fucking crazy," or whatever. I'm like, there's broken necks and fucking torn ACLs weekly in pro wrestling. There's none of that in this. And as far as some bigwig, TV wrestlers making like ungodly amounts of money, great, no problem. But for indie guys and girls, this is life-changing money, life-changing opportunity. So like I had a not an argument, but we kind of went back and forth about it. One of my best pals, he's a big super top, rich and famous wrestler. And he's like, "Oh, it's crazy, it's stupid. Why would you do that?" I'm like, this is life-changing money and opportunity for these guys. Like, well, why don't they just work at the supermarket? I'm like, because they can't take care of their family the way you take care of your family on supermarket money, motherfucker. I appreciate he's an awesome dude, and I appreciate that he's at the highest of levels. But have you forgotten what it's like to be on the ground level? Like fuck your let them eat cake bullshit. Take a chance. And I'm pretty sure that dude took a lot of chances early on, did some dangerous stuff to make his name. So you leave the house, there is a reasonable expectation of danger. You're gonna get hit by a car, a fucking meteor's gonna fall on you, the cancer's gonna get you, whatever it is. You got to live your life. You got to go out and do something. And this kid, Stunt Marshall, that kid made 20 grand in one fucking night. Oh, yeah. Good luck trying that on any indie show.
Oh yeah, I don't blame anybody for doing it. I just don't want to do it. I'd rather be the.
I would certainly do it.
I'd rather be Sinn back hanging out with Dana White. That's what I'd rather be doing.
Yeah. Whether it's in a wrestling ring or whether it's for the power slap, or anything, I wouldn't expect anybody to do something I wouldn't do. So I'm not going to teach anything in wrestling that I wouldn't do, that I thought was crazy. You want to learn some weird, crazy thing on your own, be my guest, but I'm not teaching you that. But anything that no problem. Going over the top ropes backwards, doing all that, I'll teach you that, no problem, because I can still do that in my fucking sleep. And, I was a tournament fighter before pro wrestling. I cashed in my black belt for spandex a quarter of a century ago, And so, to get smacked upside the head for a large amount of money, and you're wearing an earpiece and a mouthpiece, whoa, I don't know about anybody else. I'm a red-blooded dude, and I'm not Chuck Norris, but I would do anything to feed my family. And some of these guys, they want the glory. Some of these guys want the money, or they want the opportunity, maybe just to be seen, and maybe it's an adjacent opportunity to take them elsewhere, like WWE or wherever, or Hollywood. But I'd fight Mike Tyson right tomorrow if the payday was right. I'm not saying I'd do any good, but if it fed my family, if it paid my mortgage, fucking yeah. I just don't understand how anybody doesn't have that same attitude, and all the people that I brought to the table have that same attitude. So.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I'm with you.
And honestly, and explaining to some of the guys and girls, which I think that should have been a TV show all on its own, just having these, listening to these conversations. They're like, "Wait, you want me to do what?" And then this and that, and that, and saying, "Well, if you can jump off a ladder and a table, or take a pile driver, or a body slam, or a clothesline over the top rope, or just get fucking chopped, or get a good fucking flipper across the fucking mush." I've been in wrestling matches that hurt more than some bar fights have been. I love the Road Warriors Wrestling Soul, but working those guys, again, legit, I've been in bar fights that hurt way less. And we were working with the Road Warriors. We weren't,
right, yeah,
shooting, or just stuff or just having some clumsy indie fuck swat you in the fucking head or do something goofy to you or whatever. I can endure. I'm again not a macho guy, but I can physically endure. I've got a good threshold. I know what it's like to get hit, and I figured that wrestlers are very good at absorbing impact. That's part of the job. So why not this? Why the same thing, just for a bigger payday?
Yeah, I think you could probably take a slap. I mean, looking at you right here, I think you'd be all right.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay. It was funny too, like being a wrestler, being so used to the crowd and all that kind of stuff. Like that is to our advantage, whereas like the average bear, they don't like that.
100%.
And well, like when I was at that first combine, like before I brought any of my guys, like I was just there to observe, to kind of see what the combine was and everything, like right after I got hired. And out of all the different guys that I saw there's guys and girls there and all of the different weight classes. I'm walking around watching them practicing, teeing off on the practice pads and the strength sensors, like the PSI sensors and all those different things. And I'm thinking, there was maybe one or two guys that maybe could have taken me off my feet, and I'm 51, and they're all these young dudes. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at them, I'm like, Road Warriors hit me harder than that. Ahmed Johnson hit me harder than that. King Kong Bundy hit me harder than that. Kamala hit me harder than that. Fucking D'Lo Brown hit me harder than that. Val Venus hit me harder than that. I'm like, I could do this. And I'd even told the office, I'm like, if you want me to do it, I will do it. And they're like, we can't. You're sanctioned. Your age overreaches the sanction.
I think the hardest part, you said on like the practice, the dark match or whatever with no crowd and all that. I think the crowd, you at least get the adrenaline and TV and the lights and the cameras. And I mean, it's just like wrestling practice. Like when Rip would have us do the 4-corner chop drill on a freezing cold Saturday morning in an OVW. I mean, you go out and get chopped, and even in OVW, and there's only a couple hundred people there. That's way different getting chopped there than on a Saturday morning in a cold room with nobody there. Just got to have that adrenaline a little bit.
A little bit sometimes.
Rip like.
And I mean, my threshold goes way up when I'm wearing my magical bunny slippers and clown paint too. So then there's that.
Well, the spandex tights. That's what does it for me. As soon as I put on the spandex, then I'm
holds your soul in.
Tough as nails. Then.
Yeah, it holds your soul in. That's for sure. It's just a fucking chop, like whatever. Like, and for the money, like, give me a fucking break. Again, like if the money was there, I'd fight Mike Tyson. But that's just me. And weirdly, I'll tell you again, my brain and the hamster on my wheel is spinning, and so my Mike Tyson thing was when I was still married to Stacy. I guess she had known Mike Tyson from WrestleMania back in the day. So for some reason in Los Angeles, me and Stacy and Mike Tyson are set to do like a signing together. Why that makes any sense, I don't know. But here we are. So we go walking into the room, and Mike Tyson's like, "Oh, Stacy the cat, it's nice to see you." And he like hugs her and all this stuff. And he goes, "Where's the king?" And she looks at him, and she looks at me. She goes, "Old king's out, new king's in." And I don't know what I was fucking thinking. Like to this day, I couldn't tell you. But about this, like just 2 inches close to Mike Tyson's nose, I put my fist up and I go, "Yeah, new king." And I'm looking at my fist like, "What are you doing, fist? You're gonna fucking get me killed. What are you fucking? You're going into business for yourself, you stupid fucking fist." And he, to Mike's credit, he was sweet. He just giggled. He backed up like Honky Tonk Man, or like Rip Rogers. He's like, "Okay, new king. I get it. Okay, yes sir." And I was thinking in my head, I was like, "God damn, how close did I think I got 8 lives left? Like, what did I do?" And Mike was awesome. He was cool as shit. We exchanged a couple of messages ever since then. He's been cool as shit. I always will be a Mike Tyson fan. And I love his quote. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. I love that.
Next time I think all the show, I'm billing you as the man that Mike Tyson backed down from. That's
then you'll be signing my death warrant. But be my guest. I'm cool to see what's next. It's cool.
Rip, you got anything?
I'm just sitting here listening.
Oh boy,
we're about off 124. We've been on an hour and 24 minutes.
Well,
don't got any questions in the chat. What else you got, Sinn? You got anything else going on currently? You got a school, right?
Yeah, I teach in Las Vegas at Future Stars of Wrestling. I teach there I used to do Mondays and Tuesdays, but my schedule has just gotten so crazy where I just teach Tuesday nights. But if you want to go there and check it out, happy to teach you. There's great teachers there. Kenny King is there. Chris Bay, who's one of my students, is one of the coaches there now. And different guys come in and out. You know, sometimes TJP is there, and lots of great guys. It's a good place to go.
What was it called again?
Wrestle. Future Stars of Wrestling. You guys can put it in your Google box. It'll pop up on your Google Maps and come on down. Tell them Sinn Bodhi sent you. Joe DeFalco is the promoter, the owner of the school and the promoter. Him and Rocky T. So if you message Joe DeFalco on Facebook and say I want to come and train, tell him Sinn sent you, and he might charge you double that way.
As for the Wrestling with Rip Rogers discount.
That's right.
Shane Parks in Green wants to know who were some of your wrestling heroes? Who were your heroes in wrestling? Who'd you like growing up?
I was a Jake the Snake, Roddy Piper, Macho Man, Mr. Perfect guy. When I was a little kid, Mr. Perfect was the very first wrestler that I ever met. And like my dad is a big dude. My dad is about my height. He was, you know, in his heyday, he was maybe about 210 pounds, but just a big solid, like, I was never built like, I was never a bodybuilder or power lifter, but I was always in shape and everything. I was burly, like I am a barrel chested kind of like a wrestler. And so my dad was built like that. Whereas like, but Mr. Perfect made my dad look like a midget. Like he just was huge in my mind, in my, like from looking from my child's eyes, he was like Captain America. Like he was tanned and I swear to God, his teeth like twinkled like those gum commercials, like the ting, you know, he's like, nice to meet you, you know, and he had like gold chains and gold rings. And he was wearing like, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I remember this perfectly. Pardon the pun. He's wearing a white kind of silky tracksuit, like a Run DMC kind of tracksuit. And his hair was slicked in a ponytail and tanned like a hot dog. And he looked awesome. Like he was a superhero, you know. I just remember making the comparison from like him and my dad, who I thought was always this big, huge, larger than life guy. And he was awesome. And I was always a Mr. Perfect guy. But Jake was the one that really sort of like got my head spinning. Like Macho Man was fun as hell. Piper was fun as hell. Piper was probably the first like villain that I really enjoyed watching. And then soon after I saw Jake DDT, Ricky Steamboat on the concrete. And I literally was sitting on a couch in my hometown of Orangeville, Ontario, Canada, sitting next to Edge and Christian as kids. And those two clowns cried when Steamboat got DDT'd on the concrete. And I just thought, I want to be the guy standing up, not the guy laying on taking a nap on the concrete. And I just was always curious, like, where does this motherfucker go? Like when he's not wrestling, you know, like my mind was just like in 10 directions over this dude. Like, what's going on? Like the Wild Samoans were scary and the Road Warriors were scary. Kamala was scary. George Steele was scary. But where did Jake go? Like to me, he was like a super villain or something. Like he was like he rented space in my head. You know? And years later, I wrestled him. We became good buddies and became my mentor and one of my best pals. He even officiated my second wedding to my for realsies wife.
Real wedding.
So that was my real wedding. Not with my practice wife, but with my real wife. And it was awesome. And I thought like it was funny because I literally I kind of had to turn over the reins to some of my friends to kind of orchestrate the wedding. And then there was like an after show, which would have melted people's minds, whoever like didn't know. Like it was basically like an episode of Freak Show Wrestling that I had nothing to do with. Like all my friends just surprised me with all these wonderful performances and all this stuff. And I remember Dexter Loomis was sitting like kind of like in the front row of my wedding. And I looked over at him and he just looked like he couldn't understand what was, you know, this is one of the Wyatt Six and all this stuff. And he's just like, what the fuck is happening right now? He goes, I'm never going to a wedding ever again. He goes, nothing's going to fucking top this. This is fucking awesome. like we had sideshows. So if you go on YouTube, if you go on my YouTube page, you'll see it. Like I put like, there's like the wedding is the one link. And then like the after show, like after party is the second link. It's crazy. Wow. And I literally, the only part that I had to do was that I booked the way that we came out because I thought Jake's got to come out first because I can't let him get a bigger pop than my wife. Like, well, the wife's got to walk the aisle, right? You know, she's got to, do all that stuff. I know that was more of the funeral song or the Darth Vader song, but you get the idea. And so Jake came out first, big pop. Like we came out like, you think you know me? You think you think do you trust me or whatever, and all that stuff. And so everybody lost their minds, and Jake turned everybody into a little kid at a campfire, and talked about me and Karen, and it was super flattering, and it was the best day of my life for sure. And
so you see this on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it is.
What is your YouTube? I'm gonna check this out. Is it is it Sinn or
it should be Sinn? It should be Sinn Bodhi. Yeah, okay. If you Google Sinn Bodhi, it should actually technically, I think it might be the Freak Show Wrestling. I'll tell you right now. But you can Google Sinn Bodhi or whatever. There's like a little cartoon eyeball icon or whatever, and that's like the thing.
Got it.
But I think it should be under like Sinn Bodhi.
I wanted to ask you, just hit me. How'd you and Jason Bates become such good buddies?
Jason Bates is one of my best pals, if not my absolute best pal in the world. Here it is. Sorry. Yeah, it's Freak Show Wrestling. So that's what it is. And it's got a little eyeball. But yeah, so Jason Bates. So I met Jason in the Maritimes on a tour for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we used to like. Rip, I know Rip spent a lot of time out there with Rod Hutchinson. Give it away, Rip. I know you want to say it.
The sensational and intelligent Mass Thunderbolt.
Yeah. And so a very green me and a very green Jason Bates met in the Maritimes, and we wrestled up and down, and we had plenty of adventures, and we bonded, and he's just a great guy. And then we met up again at OBW. Well, we kept in touch, and we reunited. We did a lot of indie shows like in the States, and then we met back at OBW, and it was funny because I didn't get the Bodhi name until I went to FCW, so I was still kind of Sinn or the original Sinn at OBW, and Jason was originally, he was the Street Fighter, but he felt like he was kind of being a little too bland. He wanted to like spice it up. So me and him concocted the Belgian Brawler.
Yeah, I was down there with him during that.
Yeah, and so basically for the people that don't know, so Belgian Brawler was kind of like something between Hans and Franz and Corporal Kirchner. And and I think the genius of it is that Jason is a wonderful guy, and smart, clever, kind, empathetic, great sense of humor, but a very monotone face. Like you could this is his happy face, this is his sad face, this is his angry face. Like you can't see much of a difference. So, and he was a very serious wrestler. So I think just like Arnold and genius was having Arnold in that comedian in Kindergarten Cop, it would have been the shits, but the genius was that Arnold was at that time so serious and always blowing shit up, and now he's selling for kindergartners. It's not a tumor, and that was the good part of that thing. So that's what was the funny part about Belgian Brawler was he looked so serious, and he was 260 pounds, jacked.
He was jacked,
but he would do this. Yeah, and he would do that Hans and Franz sort of promo, and I swear to God, every time we'd do promos and Al was filming that stuff, like we'd have to do it over and over. Like we'd get it on the first take, but Al would wreck it by laughing off camera. So we'd have to redo it. Like we would, we would set up these stupid, silly gags. Like I'd ask him, I'd say, "Hey, Belgian Brawler," I didn't, he'd say like he's from the Belgian Secret Service. And I'd say "Oh, I didn't know Belgian had a Secret Service." He goes, "Yeah, that's because it's a secret." And just Al Snow would fucking pop off camera, and we'd have to do it 10 more times before Al could keep his trap shut. And
finisher was the waffler or whatever it was called.
The Belgian waffle. He'd clobber a dude. He'd put a fucking big old donkey punch into the guy's back of the head, and that'd be that. And we put a waffle, like a W logo, like a Waffle House logo on his Kirchner beret. And Al couldn't walk by Bates without fucking laughing. It was one of the funniest gimmicks I'd ever seen. He was a lot of fun to wrestle with, and he's one of my absolute best pals. He's an unrelated brother. He is a very good.
I met him in Muncie, Indiana, working for I think it was a Shadow show, Rip, and they put me and the Night Stalker together. Never met him before. I think we tagged against Tanaka and somebody else. I can't remember. Maybe somebody he brought, but for whatever reason, all of the place, nobody knew in Muncie who the Night Stalker was. It was his first time in, only time in. Every kid in that place was chanting for the Night Stalker for someone. It was Night Stalker, Night Stalker. We were just looking at each other. I was like, damn, dude, you're over. He's like, I don't know how. None of these people know who I am. It was awesome. He had the real long hair at that time. He had like long blonde hair or whatever. And then I met up at probably the same time down in OVW, saw him again. And I was like, did you ever wrestle in Muncie? I think we were partners once. And it was him, obviously. But the only other thing was he blacked my eye one day in practice. I was still teaching school at the time. I had to go with a big black eye at one day in practice. You
just walk in and you say, we're not allowed to talk about Fight Club. You know?
That's right. Yep. Everybody's like, what happened? I was like, it was the Night Stalker. No, it was the Belgian Brawler, whatever his name was.
So you got waffled.
I got waffled.
you got waffled.
He was like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was like,
I will tell you this about Jason Bates. Great guy. Just will give you the shirt off his back, the sweetest guy ever. Possibly the toughest dude I've ever. He's to me, he would be up in the Haku category of toughness. Like if I had to fight 20 ninjas in a dark alley and pick one dude to have my back, it'd be Jason Bates.
Wow.
A close second would be Gangrel, but Jason Bates would be my number one pick. And if he wasn't to this day, if he wasn't, he's a year older than I am. If he wasn't above that Powerslap sanction, I'd put all my money on him and I'd hire him for that. But he's out of the age bracket. Yep.
Wow.
That dude is corn-fed, strong as a fucking pickup truck. I wouldn't want to fuck with that guy. And I'm not Chuck Norris, but I can handle my shit. And I wouldn't want to fuck with that guy.
No.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't retaliate on the black eye then, man. I'm glad I just took it.
And I'm sure I bet you any money. I'll bug him about it when I'll call him later. I'll tell him that. I bet you anything he felt awful about it. Like, even though he could dole it out if he didn't mean to, like, you know, if he was bouncing somebody in his bar or if he's in a bar fight or something, you know, he's like, hey man, the guy asked for it, you know. But if it was like a worker and he did that, he would feel terrible.
Oh no, he apologized right away. Yeah, he was instantly apologizing.
I was so one of the first times I was getting to know Jason in the Maritimes, and so Bobby Bass and Buddy Lane had hooked up this hotel for us, and it was in Moncton, New Brunswick, New Brunswick or Nova Scotia, wherever Moncton is, and they gave us a deal where they were brave enough to put like 10 wrestlers into a hotel room. What a good idea that is. We're going to wreck this room. And so there was like cot after double bed, after nightstand, after double bed, after cot to the window. And so Jason was laying on one of these beds, and he was just in a pair of shorts, like bare feet. And we were just talking. We're going bullshitting before we're going to go eat or work out or whatever. And he mentioned that his feet were ticklish. Like that was his Achilles heel, his kryptonite. I go, okay. So as I'm walking along, I do, you know, I'm walking along and I grabbed him in like a shoot ankle lock and I tickled his foot and he was flipping and flopping. He's laughing, but he's like, you motherfucker. And he wedged himself in between these beds and these cots in the beds, like by the bathroom wall. Like, we're both laughing our ass off. And all I can hear is like, now I'm going to have to punch you. And I was like, oh, fuck, you know, and I'm thinking he's wedged. He can't go anywhere. You're not that strong. And he goes, bruh, and moves like these fucking 2 double beds, fucking nightstand after cot after nightstand. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I start laughing and I go fucking powdering off I go running into the bathroom. I put my hands on the door. I'm trying to shut the door. And I get the door almost shut like this. And with one hand, he just pushes the door open, and my feet and my hands are like I'm locked up tight. And he just pushes the whole, like me and the whole door open, and just being silly, like straight arm. He didn't talk back and punch. He just did this like a ramrod, and he just punched me in the ass. I swear to God, it hurt more than half the bar fights I had ever been in my entire life. Like, and we both were laughing our fucking asses off, and we just, he's just a good dude. We just had it, always laughing, always giggling, having a good time. Yeah. He's a great guy. I can't say that.
Tell him we talked about him on the show today. All good stuff though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's put him over. He's definitely, again, he's one of those woulda, shoulda, coulda guys. I mean, he could wrestle anybody. He was good. He was a good babyface. He was a great heel. He's a great babyface as Bella's brawler. If whenever however Al booked him, sometimes baby, sometimes heel. But it's just a great worker, great guy. More importantly, it's just a great guy. He's super, super good dude. And now he is a successful businessman and a family man. He's got 3 wonderful boys and a little girl she is my niece. They're my nephews. And he's got a wonderful wife. And he's got his bar. I'll plug his bar. He's got a bar restaurant in Mitchell, South Dakota, called Big Dummies. That's what he refers to himself. He calls himself the Big Dummy. So that's the name of his bar. So
that's awesome.
Great guy, great place. So if you're in Mitchell, go check it out. South Dakota, go check it out. He's like the Fonz of that town. I remember the first time I visited him up there, and I go up there, a few times every year. I go do tattoos or wrestling shows or just to visit. I remember the first time we were driving around, and we go into the bank, we go into the grocery store, we go into the post office, we went everywhere. Bates, hey Bates, 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 hey Bates, hey Bates. I'm like, dude, you're like the fucking Fonz in this town. He's just like, man, the fighter's over.
That's awesome.
Or sometimes they wouldn't call him Bates. Sometimes, hey, Brawler, and I would fucking pop. It just made me laugh.
Yeah. All right, boys, I got to roll. Hour and 40 in. Kids are getting ready to leave. I gotta get out of here, man.
It's all good. I gotta go feed my goats.
We got Rip.
No, I'm just laughing.
Just you didn't say much today, Rip.
I was listening.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
that I'll tell you right now. I'll leave on that high note. That it flatters me and freaks me out that whether it's a Rip or a Dr. Tom or a Jake the Snake or whatever, like some of what I would consider the cleverest workers and cleverest humans, and if I have ever entertained them or amused them to the point where they're just giggling and they're not having to teach, where they just can sit back and just listen to my dumb ass say goofy shit and it amuses them, then I'll take that as that's my world championship title right there. If I can amuse the hustler, to me that's a heavyweight championship strap right there.
That sounds awesome, man.
Don't get any better than that.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Shane Park, Screaming Baboon, Mongoose 69 for the super chats. I'm going to play a little tune here, closing out. Rip can never hear it. The other guest last week couldn't hear it either, so maybe nobody can hear it anymore but me. But I'm going to...
Real American?
I'm going to... It's not Real American. No, we'll get copyrighted for that, so can't do that. Starcade on YouTube. I'm in the video. Not this video, but one of their videos. So thanks a lot again for coming on. Really appreciate it. We'll do it again sometime.
Thank you, guys.
Anytime you want to come on, just let me or Rip know.
Anytime you guys want, you let me know. Anytime, I'm happy to do it.
All right, well, good luck with the Powerslap stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
See you. All right, see you guys. Later.
See you, Rip.